All right, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody can see me okay. So if you're not sure what's going on, I'm going to be looking a little bit to my right today, but I have some other cameras. I know you're not looking at my, hey, there I am. We have a lot of camera angles. Today is not a podcast. Today is a live streaming pedal board build. I thought it'd be fun. I was gonna take the New Year's Eve and build a pedal board. So that's what I was planning to do, and I thought, well, why not stream it live for those that want to hang out and maybe watch it or talk or ask questions about pedals. I have no idea really what I plan to build today, but I gave you guys, look at that, every angle I can. This is not the complete pedal board. We'll get into that, and I'll demo all the pedals. I have everything set up here in the shop the way you would hope. I have it set up so that essentially I can give you all the camera angles. I have a guitar set up. I have an amp rig set up, and I have everything set up. We can do everything. The moderators are here, and Amanda will be fielding any questions you have. If you have any questions, like I said, just keep it to either New Year's Eve questions, if that's a thing, or pedal board questions. And like I said, feel free to ask anything. So let's start with what I'm doing. So if you guys have been watching this channel, if you've been a viewer of this channel since its inception, since its very first videos, I have been using Holy boards. My very first Holy board was the wooden ones. If you know the evolution of Holy boards, Chris, the owner of Holy boards, made them out of wood, and I love them because I think I did a dog fur proof pedal board video. I'm sure it still exists in some form, where I was showing I don't really like Velcro, and they use zip ties. Now, since Holy boards came out, he's adapted one to aluminum, and now a new one that's made of steel, and you can use Velcro, you can use zip ties, or now you can actually use the Temple board plates, and that's the other pedal board. If I don't use a Holy board, I use a Temple board. So I'll be talking about both the boards because these are both what I use. I like the Holy boards a little better for the fact that they're in this two-row kind of thing, and they're modular, which I'll explain that in a second. But what I didn't really love was the zip tying was fine, that's what I like, but it was just a little hard to add power stations and stuff to it like you could with Temple, but then Holy boards, they kind of added that feature. So this is a brand new Holy board, so I'm going to be checking it out and doing it, and I don't know, hope this works. Okay, so pedals, before I start with pedals, let's talk with the board. As you guys know, the majority of what I like is zip ties. Let me get into that. I'm gonna get some stuff. I have a lot of stuff off screen here on these tables. Okay, so much stuff. I'm trying to think which angle is gonna be the best ones to have. Hold on a second. Here, okay, top cam. All right, so you can use Velcro, like this, little thin strips or thicker strips, or you can do zip ties, or like I said, the Temple plates work. And I believe I have a Temple plate right here for those that are curious. What this is a, adapter plate that comes with, where you buy them for Temple pedal boards, and this will fit in, and it takes a little finesse. And so, you know, I've not had good luck with the small plates or the large ones, mostly the medium ones. And again, it takes a little, like, sometimes you want to look underneath and see how to line this thing up, because sometimes it doesn't do so great. So just my 2 cents. Which I'm having the trouble now. Oh, there, it's kind of lining up here. So again, not super great luck with the Temple stuff, but zip ties is what I prefer, so it works out good for me because the Temple plates get a little cumbersome. So today's pedal board, I plan to do the full pedal board. I usually don't use a full pedal board. So in this case, this has other pieces, so you can make it longer, and you can put the wah pedal on this side. And so, you know, you can do it. The way this works, so you guys know, you can do it, I don't know why you would put maybe the volume pedal, you put a volume pedal at the end. You could do that, like something like this. Maybe if you volume off your rig, put a volume pedal right there instead of a wah pedal on the side. Or you could buy 2 of these plates and put one on each side. Or you can get 2 of these wide ones and make it super long, or you get 2 of these short ones, which would basically be one of these, because this is half of that, basically. But today I'm going to build, I think what I want is a large pedal board like so. And I have messed with this a little bit. I wanted to be a little familiar with it, but I didn't want to do too much prep for it because, you know, I kind of wanted this to be clumsy because it's a live hang, man. It's great. And if you want to talk, send a question or a subject, just put a question mark before what you're talking about, and that way I'll see it, or Amanda will grab it. And let's do that. Okay, so I need another bag. By the way, I had, okay, so let me go ahead and start assembling this thing, the board itself. Let me show you how it works. It's pretty cool. They have these plates, and this is the plate. I want to show you one. And the board probably won't be the exciting part to build, so I'm going to try to move quickly through that, but maybe it will be. So these are the plates. You can see how it's mounting here. You basically, it's got these right there, and we just put that plate there. And then we take this pedal board, line it up, and same thing. What's great is, because these are actually made in the USA, and they're made of steel, you can see I haven't even done both screws, but it's legit, man. Like, you need, I would say do both because you're gonna be stepping on this thing, but I'm just saying it's built so well. I mean, like I said, it doesn't even flex or anything. It's on there. So, and you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it right now, where I'm putting the small half board, you know, right next to this. I could do the main board and do this as the add-on. One advantage, so you know, is putting this over on this side is that later if you want to take that off, it's going to be a lot easier, you know, to take those last 2 pedals off. But I'm going for broke on this, so I'm going to make the whole board. This is my 2025 board I'm going to use for next year. I've been using a small board, which I still have, and I really like it. But I want to do some more pedal stuff again. I bought a bunch of pedals during the holidays. So it's funny. Look at that. It's pretty cool. Maybe it is. I don't know. I was really shocked, by the way. I asked you guys if you guys thought I should do a live pedal board build, and that was the most yeses I ever got. So you can see here that you want to put another plate right here. See how you're reinforcing it? And you know what I should have brought was my tray. I have a tray for all my screws, but I took a lot of the tools off the workbench because I need room for the pedal board. And then while I'm doing this, I'm just looking. Blake says this looks cooler than his pedal train. You know, I liked pedal train. When I first started out, I had a pedal train. Then, by the way, I bought a pedal board from a company called Trailer Trash, and I'm not sure if they're still around. I think they are, where they made custom ones, and it was diamond plate. I really liked it. And then what happened was my wife got a second dog, and there was just dog fur on everything all the time. And I don't know what it was. It just was really bugging me. So I was thinking one day, I'm like, there's got to be a way to mount pedals where it's not all this gluey Velcro stuff. And that's when I found the Holy board that was made of wood, and you could use zip ties. And I just like it. I don't know why. I just do. I prefer it. So, but like I said, for those, every time I've always talked about these pedal boards, somebody always says, I hate zip ties. I'm like, well, you can use Velcro on it. It works the same way. It just has holes in case you want to use zip ties. All right, so here's the question of the day. This is where you guys can help me. I want to do a wah pedal this year. I haven't been playing a wah pedal for the last couple years, and I usually use the Maverick. So you guys know, this is the Maverick by Morley. This is just a smaller version of the big Morley pedals you're used to seeing. It uses a spring. So when you touch it, as soon as you touch forward just a little bit, this engages the wall and the wall's on. So there's no switch on the side and there's no push forward to click. So this is pretty cool to use. However, I do have a Clyde McCoy traditional wall. I was thinking about just going old traditional, but I think I still like the Maverick. And I also have this, and I kind of think about using this year. So this was a gift given to me. This is a limited edition George Lynch, Mr. Scary Wall. This whole piece glows in the dark. Pretty cool. And this has the scream function and has a slice function. There's a switch. This is not to engage the wall. This is to switch it to another feature. So let's think about using this. This one's a very special one that was given to me. They only made 300 of these, but this is number 303 of 300. Why am I having trouble? Look at that. Ta-da. It doesn't look like it's focusing. There it is. It was a shiny light. So pretty cool. It was a promotional one. I'm sure that's why it was above the 300. So I think for today, I think I'm going to try the Mr. Scary wall. So the only thing I'm going to have trouble with is demonstrating the wall. Because I don't know how I'm not putting this on the floor. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I'm thinking, I don't know about you guys, I'm thinking I might want to add all the power, install the power features first and then the pedals. I don't know. You know, it's been a while since I built a real pedal board. I've used now a little 3 to 5, max 5 pedal, little one row pedal board for so long. Like this is going to be a little bit more interesting. For power supplies, I used the Chucks. That's what I use. Let's go here. So you go close. Chucks. I have both the Chuck units. So you know, they make one that also is smaller. And it's right there. Right here, this one. Okay. This one mounts on the side. You can also mount this one on that one. The only problem with this one is then, if you do that, then you have to have this power adapter thing with it. And so it's just a little bit more than what I want to deal with right now. So I'm going to use this one. One of the features I like on this is these little switches. You just assign these little dip switches to that pitcher, and you can do 9 volts, 12 volts, 15 volts, or 18 volts. And I have two pedals that run 18 volts if I want. So this is really nice. To do this, what's really cool about this unit is this just goes right underneath here, and you can see there's the power supply. The power plug is this way, so you just put it towards the edge of a board, and then it mounts here. One of the downfalls, though, is that when you mount it here, you lose the ability to kind of run your zip ties underneath. That's a little problematic, but I think I can work around it. I think I can. The other thing that's really cool is, because like I said, he made his stuff now interchangeable with the Temple stuff, which is made in Canada and is very good as well. Now you can take stuff like their power supplies, like that, and mount them. So I can mount this here. You do have to take a little ride to the Ace Hardware to get some special screws, which I sent my son for. And a funny note is, if you haven't had the chance, for those older folk like me, or older, send your kids to Ace Hardware by themselves. It's a very pleasing experience to be able to like, go to Ace Hardware, get me these screws, don't worry, somebody will take care of you. And they absolutely take care of you, which is great, right? It's fantastic. It's like going back. It's like if you go back, if you take a kid meaning like a 20-year-old or a 18-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 10-year-old, you know, I don't want to say, like even maybe toddlers, take them to an Ace Hardware. It's like going back in a time machine to a different one. Not only do you not have to self-checkout yourself, you do a self-checkout. They're literally going to help you, and in every way. It's pretty cool. So. Yeah, Ace Hardware, fantastic. And see, and they give you just a little hand let's see this. This is what they gave my son, by the way. They gave him the screws he needed. And so, you know, I didn't tell him I need these screws. What I did was I sent him with, this is what I did. I said, for the record, because, you know, I always have like a nut and a screw kind of thing, right? Nut and bolt. I'm sorry, nut and bolt. And so what I did is I just literally handed him this power supply, or this power plug, and this, and I said, walk up to an old dude at Ace Hardware and hand him these two things and say, you need something to make this work and that. And the gentleman did not disappoint with the correct hardware to make all this stuff work. So, fantastic. So, shout out. I should have Ace Hardware be the sponsor of the show. They can be sponsor of the show. But so you know, the sponsor of this show is, well, technically Holy Boards, because he sent the board. So let's give them credit for that. And then, of course, the patrons. So thank you guys for that. Let's see. I'm perusing right here. I'm perusing the comment sections. I'm trying to stay engaged to see if there's anything. Okay. Dave says, hey, Phil, let's try again. Would your power supply fit just above the wah pedal? Might otherwise be unused space. It's good. Let's take a look. See? This was my diabolical plan. I'm like, oh, let's build a pedal board where I make you guys figure out all the hard stuff. Okay, so I think what you're saying is we would put it on the top, obviously, here, right? Here, but then mount it through here. And the answer is going to be hills to the yeah. That is absolutely going to work. I mean, granted, you're going to be looking at it, but that's okay. I'm cool with this. Man, look at that. Dave Johnson solving problems. I think that's the way to go. I think that's that's an upvote for that. Yeah, all right, let's do that. We're doing that. Okay, we're gonna need a screw. We're gonna need one of the screws that I've now thrown everywhere and didn't pay attention to where I was doing with them. Okay. Okay, I did see one. Here it is. Okay, gonna need this. Two little chucks, and what we'll do is we'll keep that power supply facing outward, and I want to go as high as I can because I want it to be out of the way of the wah pedal, which doesn't look like it's going to be a problem at all. And I'm pretty sure I can put two screws through that. Look at that. Yep, that's how it's going to work. And I could do it, so you know, I could face it the other way, but I'm thinking I want the power supply right there. See, I want to be able to plug in. Oh, no, you know what? We have this thing. So maybe we'll make it go the right way, and then we'll run power to the back of the, that's what we're doing. Okay, so first, let's install this. Okay, we need our Ace Hardware parts. Okay. By the way, that's what we were looking for a minute ago. Like I said, I thought about organizing all this stuff for this video, for the hang, but I was like, no, it's New Year's Eve. You guys are lucky I'm not drinking. My first thought was to have a beer while doing this, but I was like, I don't know if I want to worry about all that and drink a beer at the same time. So these, we're going to go here. And okay, and I think later I will go back to the Ace Hardware and get shorter versions of these screws, because they're a little long and they don't really work the reverse way, which is what the nice gentleman told my son, but I just needed them for tonight. But for this, it's going to work. So you can see what I did. So now, if we reverse this Chuck's power supply. And now, I mean, we don't have to plug it in now, but there you go. Now we can run it this way. And again, run it at the top. There we go. And now that I have the correct, I did have the correct screw. I can do that. Look at that. Okay, looky, looky. And then here, I think that's going to be too small for that. So I'm going to just cheat and use a pair of pliers. By the way, I saw a super chat. I'll answer it. So I'll answer stuff. I'm going to take a second and then I'll answer. And maybe that's how we'll do it. Amanda's sending me stuff too, so like I said, I'm not missing stuff. Litvey, let's go here. Litvey says, I don't know why I'm showing you a shot of me looking at the screen, but says, just tuned in, just turned midnight. Happy New Year, Litvey. He says, here, so I'll watch later. Wanted to start the year with a big number here. Challenge you all to beat this sum with your real money. Yeah, he did 10,000. I don't know what HUF is. But yes. And then CPAR said, hey Phil, just installed Blackstock pickups to my PRS-SE. They sound amazing. The packaging, simple instructions, and the actual pickups show the care and effort you and Shauna put into them. You know, I got to give Shauna, she did 100% of the instructions and the packaging for the pickups. So if you were misfortunate enough to ever buy some of the very first pickups I ever made, you have seen some of my horrible packaging. So she came in and said, let's not do that anymore. So she fixed it. Thank you. I'm glad you like the pickups, and thank you for the super chat. That's too kind. So now look, we have power, man. We have made the output on the back for those that are, you know, now we can plug the power supply in the back. We have it here. I actually like it because now I can switch these faster. I have access to it, and it should not hinder that wall pedal. For those that are probably curious though, I think it puts a no-go. Oh no, it fits. I mean, it's just, you know, they're touching, but the rubber feet here are touching here. So if, for your side view pleasures, whoop, there you go. So I mean, it's a close call, but you know, it's also really cool, Dave, for that idea. What's really cool is that if you put your power supply on this board here like this, there's a USB right there. So you can charge your phone or run any kind of USB power, and it's accessible instead of hidden underneath. So that's a cool option. I'm cool with that. I like it. It's good. I like that. Okay. All right. I think we're going Mr. Scary Wah pedal, even though I'm not planning to make this like a metal board. I just want to use the pedal. I've not really ever played it, to be honest with you. So, okay. Jay Marble, thank you for the 24 months of being a member. He says, Phil and Shauna, thank you for the great 2024 of guitar content. Looking forward to 2025. All the best. I'm excited about 2025. I hope you guys are too. Michael wants to know if the pedal board is 5 separate pieces. It is 3 separate pieces. So this is 1 piece here. In fact, to help in case questions like this came up, look what I did. This is off the Holy Board website. And so it's 3 modules. There's a module A, module B, module C. Collectively, so 109, so that's $200. It's $260 if you want the board you're seeing with me. But what's great is you can get 2 module A's, or you can get, you know, I don't know why you get 2 module B's, but you can get 2 module A's and a module B, or you can get 2 module C's and a module A. You see what I'm saying? It's literally, you just construct it how you want. I wish it came in colors, so you know. if I could, like if it came in powder, like I would love it if it's like a powder coated surf green or powder coated red, just something kind of, you know, just cool, because otherwise it's just pretty traditional in the all black look, but it looks great. I'm happy with it. Let's see. And then Paul Cran wants to know, is the Nomad save file the best one for your first fret job? I would watch the video I did on that. That's why I did it that way, but I would say, yeah. I mean, I still like the file and I still trust it for especially somebody who's doing their first crowning, for sure. Let's see what's next. What's the next pedal? So let me tell you how I think. I'm thinking wah pedal, and then I think boost, and then I think into my overdrives. My favorite boost is the Enhancifier. I'm probably going to go with that, but let me show you a couple boosts I use. So the Enhancifier is my all-time faves. This is a pricey pedal. I think it's like 350 bucks. It's essentially it's a recreation, hand-wired recreation, made in USA, you know, artisan built. In other words, you know, this isn't one of those, it's not mass-produced, it's made by one person. And it is a kind of like a studio compressor boost thing, is basically what I put it. I did a whole video on this, so you can check it out. I love this. You can run it 9 or 18 volts. I'm gonna probably run it 18 volts. This is probably the way I'm gonna go, because if I'm going big board, I'm gonna go big pedal. But if I didn't use this, the other two I would definitely use. Sometimes I use my Taurus Servo. This is like a modern version of this. So like where this sounds like 1960s analog tech, this feels like 1980s, 90s, more modern, you know, not digital because it's still analog, but more analog, you know, kind of more hi-fi analog tech. Does it make sense? So I like them both for different reasons. I think I like how this one, the Enhancifier, just sounds a little bigger and a little bit, how it breaks a little bit more, distorts a little bit, where this stays really clean because, like I said, more hi-fi audio. But I think I'm going Enhancifier, but this is always my runner-up, especially if I don't have room. And then if I don't have room for this, which is crazy because the servo is not very big, I love the Exotic Clean Boost, the Super Clean. This is a great one. You can adjust some of the EQing on the side. There's these little dip switches. I don't know why I'm having trouble figuring out what that camera is, but there it is. So you can see how my dip switches are set. Because it's got like a bass boost and so on. But this is very small. So you can imagine, I mean, look at the difference between these two. I love this one too. Like I said, these are the three boosts over the years that I've just really come to. Of course, we know I love and miss the self-esteem booster, but that's a different animal and I don't have one now. So I'm thinking I'm going Enhancifier. By the way, we'll plug in and listen to this stuff. Then after I go boost, I usually go overdrive, if that helps. It's kind of like my thought process. Let's see. So overdrives, I'm in. I think, you know, the question is, let's take a fiver. So I actually have a Chick-fil-A beverage. I have my water too. So let me do water. But I have my soft drink here, whatever, my Diet Coke, which is fun. Okay, so I want to take a second, and if you guys don't mind, I know I'm not looking at the camera, but I want to take a second and we'll talk for a second. Amanda sent me stuff, and I have a couple super chats, and I just realized, okay, I didn't have the history up. Interesting. I wonder why it's not updated. Oh, there it is. Okay. This came from Working Nights 84. It says, Happy New Year's Eve from Sweden. Nothing like starting 2025 with a pedal board build with the great man. Thank you so much, man. That's too kind. Everyone else is at the party. Yeah, no party for me, man. This is it. You can imagine how boring my life is. My wife's like, okay, you want to do a pedal board stream? She's like, go do it. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's go and see what Amanda's talking about. And again, the moderators know to only grab questions. We're only doing questions about pedal boards and pedals. You don't have to talk about this pedal board and my pedals, but it's only, that's the theme. Or New Year's Eve. I don't know what that would be, but okay, so she sent me Dave's. Yardbird68 says, hey Phil, do you have to have a power supply like that? Or are the 9-volt batteries per each pedal sufficient? Never use pedal board. Okay, Yardbird, you can use batteries, but keep in mind, like most of these pedals I own, like a lot of the pedals that you guys own, don't even take 9 volts anymore. They don't have batteries in them. A lot of companies got rid of them. There are 2 other choices that I personally use. So this is a good time to share that. Okay, I only use the Chuck's power supplies that I showed you, those 2. And even though I have no problem with Pedal Train, I have no problem with Voodoo Lab, there's so many great ones, this is just where I landed, okay? However, if I'm just running a couple pedals and I need a daisy chain, I'll use something like this one spot. Some people say it's noisy and hums. Hey, if it noisy and hums, find an alternative solution for yourself. I have sometimes the same problem with it. It's not common, but it does, and I don't use it. I use something else. However, this is just a 9-volt power supply. For most of you guys, if you're using a bunch of like, you know, the average working pedals, MXRs, Bosses stuff, just use a basic power supply and a daisy chain. So I'll use something like that. Now, funny enough, to test pedals, what I'm using, I don't use this to test pedals, but I'm using it to test pedals. This is the Sanyo Power. This is a brick. This is a battery. So what's cool now is you understand, instead of, to answer your question, I guess better, is what I want to say, is instead of Yardbird68, instead of just getting a bunch of 9 volts, now you just get yourself one like rechargeable lithium power like this, and then see this, you can run this pedal. You can run it just to the pedal, right? Like a daisy chain. I mean, like a single power. Or this one has 2 outputs. Or you can run a daisy chain. And like I said, you can get all kinds of lithium rechargeable power supplies like this that will power your whole board. So you just want something that's big enough and strong enough to do it. This will power this entire pedal board if I needed it to, which is why it's great. Because if something goes wrong and I have a situation where I don't want to plug this in, I can just plug everything into this. Now, the only problem is this: if this is running 18 volts, it wouldn't work, but it will automatically switch to 9 volts and I'll be fine. But this kind of power supply, go with something like that. I like these because they're ultra quiet, right? They don't introduce any outside noise because they're just battery powered. So that's a great way to go, for sure. So, you know, I used the battery powered supply, power supplies like this. By the way, Big Joe makes a great one, but again, you can use so many now that have adapters. So many. Just find the one that best fits your needs and has the, you know, the price point that you want to pay. I've found no particular one that's so much better than the others. But to let you know how long they last, I think this one says it does 10,000 charges, so I can recharge this 10,000 times, and then it's no good. And when I got it, I was like, oh no. And I bought this, I want to say in 2014, still working like a charm. Might have been earlier than that, so you know. It had to be earlier, 2013, 12. So you can imagine, I mean, I've had it now for over 10 years and it's still working fine. So, and then Tony's like, how long will it stay charged? This thing, it's just depends on, here's the math, Tony, that's really cool to know. The way it works is it's not so much like, oh no, you plug in your paddle board and then this lasts like only 2 hours. What it is if you run 1 or 2 pedals at a time, right? Let's say you're not running all your pedals, you only run like, you know, like this, you're only running 1 pedal at a time. This thing could last, you know, 8 hours continuous playing. You wouldn't play for 8 hours continuous, but I'm just saying. So it's like 4 2-hour gigs, right? I mean, no problem, no problem. Now, if you run a bunch of pedals all the time, so you're always running 2 or 3 pedals or 4 pedals, then, you know, you can almost cut that lifespan in half to about 4 hours on something like this, maybe 5, which again, is more than enough. The only thing you want to be aware of is when you use these aftermarket battery units, pedals like this pedals like this, this Line 6 HX1, pedals with screens that are constantly on, or like some of the Strymon devices, things that are just constantly on, there's always some kind of display constantly on, you gotta understand that wears on these a little heavier. You could literally cut this down dramatically, but still, I mean, I can tell you right now, if I turn on all the pedals, if I put 8, 10 pedals on this and turn them on all on, this is going to run at least 2 to 3 hours straight, no problem, straight. And that's not likely. So like I said, I've never had a problem like that. And this is a 10-year-old battery unit, so I would imagine the newer ones are probably more efficient. I haven't had a reason to buy a new one because I'm still using this thing. And I think I paid $150 for this back in the day. Wayne, thank you so much, man, for the super huge super chat. He says, Happy New Year, Phil, and Shauna, thanks for all you do for us. Man, no, thank you, Wayne. Man, that's really cool. I'm not going to buy beer tonight. I'm going to buy bourbon. And I thought this is fun. I hope you guys are having fun. There's way more of you hanging out than I thought. I really thought it was going to be me and 16 people, maybe, and 4 of those are probably my relatives. Okay, so I'm going Enhancifier. So I'm going Mr. Scary Enhancifier. So next I'm doing Overdrive. Overdrives, to me, I don't know about you guys, it's always the flavor of the month for me. So I went crazy. I told you guys I bought the Blues Breaker pedal. I absolutely love it. And then, because of that, I bought the Shred Master. I absolutely love this. And then I just bought the Drive Master. I didn't love that. That one's okay. But I got it for $109, but it's not going on the board. So let me show you what I'm considering and why I'm considering it. So I'll show you my favorite pedals over here. I put a stack on the side on this table, and I'm dropping stuff. Okay, so my thought process is, you know, wah. This is boost, so boost into a lower overdrive or light overdrive. So that way, this is, you know, my low drive, but then if I want more out of it, I stack them up, a little boost into that. These two are two of my favorites. This is the Mark Lettieri Melody EQ drive from J-Rocket Audio. Okay, let's do the close cam, dun 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 dun. Let's do that. And there. So you can see that. This is what this looks like. It's a really cool pedal. So this is one I really like. And then so you guys know, I want you to see the Blues Breaker. These things are huge. This is so you know, this is a big reason why I'm like, I need to go to a bigger pedal board, because I'm like, all of a sudden I'm falling in love with all these pedals. They're just huge, like massive footprints. Another overdrive, in fact, the 2 others that I really like a lot, and I use them a lot, is side cam, the Zen Drive. But what's funny about the Zen Drive is this is a love pedal one, not the Hermedia one. I had the Hermedia one, and I bought this one used, A-B'd them, thought they sounded pretty damn close, sold that one for 3 times what this one cost me and kept this one. But I have this Love Pedal OD11, which is supposed to be a clone, or this is supposed to be basically this, I think. I like this better. I like the OD11. This is one, OD11s, so you guys know, if you find them in the wild, you can get them for like $100, but then for long periods of time you can't find them. And then every once in a while some ass person on the internet mentions them like I do, and then they'll jump up to $150 for a little while, but they'll come right back down as soon as, you know, everybody gets their impulse purchases out of the way. So either be first, get yours cheap, or wait for somebody to get sick of theirs and put them back out and let them lose their $50. I don't know, I could be wrong on that one, but I haven't looked recently, but I've never seen these really be super collectible or valuable anyway. I just like it. So this is usually my go-to for something instead of the Blues Breaker, or like I said, the Lettieri, but I think I'm going Blues Breaker. I just really like it. I think I'm going Blues Breaker. So I'm thinking I'm going wah, Enhancifier, Blues Breaker. So then the way I do my pedal board is after I do the boost into a low overdrive, then I need a high gain overdrive. And the reason my logic is this is like a problem solving unit, right? So this is like, I want to plug into a Hot Rod Deluxe or a Blues Junior or a Boss Katana, and I just want to use that as like essentially a very clean PA system. All the sound will come from my pedals. So I'm going to go with the Shred Master. And already, like, this pedal board, these pedals are so silly, huge. But like I said, I don't stack these. I wouldn't stack this stuff, but I really like the Shred Master. So you know, what I use instead, if I'm not using the Shred Master, hold on, because it fell on the floor, and I gotta get on the floor and get it. The two I would alternate from constantly for high gain, the 5150 pedal, that's a real, like a common one. I did a video with Tim Pierce where we talked about EQ pedals and the 5150 pedal. And then I use the Friedman BOD. And if this looks weird to you, this is the Sweetwater limited edition, or not limited edition, just their version of it. I didn't get it from Sweetwater. I got it used from Zim's Guitars. He just had one. This is the one he had, so this is the one I bought. I actually thought the original one looked a little cooler, but I could be wrong. So like I said, these two constantly go in our rotation. Sometimes an LPD 87, but usually it's these two. The magic, to me, the magic of the 5150 pedal, if you haven't figured it out, is, man, don't look at my settings. Look at that gain knob. Like, I mean, think about this. That's full blast. And I had it like barely halfway. Don't juice this thing. Everybody always puts it on 10 and then hits the boost, and they're like, it's too fizzy. I'm like, well, of course. With gain on a lot of pedals, especially a lot of mid-gain and high-gain pedals, I find once you travel about 80% of the the distance of the gain control, it's too mushy. It's just too much, too everything, too saturated, too muddy, too bassy, too bright. It's something that's not going in a good way. So, but I think I'm going to go Shred Master. Time to go Shred Master. Okay. All right, Amanda grabbed this one. Joshua says, hey, Philip, just joined. Last few hours at work. Have you played the new JHS Violet? And if so, thoughts? I have played... Dramatic pause. It's not dramatic pause. I'm trying to think of all the JHS pedals I've tried. I've played the Charlie Brown one, right? I've played, I don't even think I played the Charlie Brown one. I think I played the Andy Timmons version of the Charlie Brown pedal. I had the Black Box, which is a volume control pedal from JHS. And that is it. That's all the JHS pedals I've ever tried. There was no local dealers who carried JHS, and I don't see JHS in the wild very often. It's not something I see very often. When I go out, hit stores, I don't know what it is. I just don't see a lot of JHS. So I am not familiar with JHS. I've never tried the Bonsai, although it looks really cool. I know he's got one like the Rat pedal that does the same thing. Never tried that. Never tried the, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I played the Paul Gilbert pedal at Milano's Music in Mesa, Arizona during the pandemic when everything was really quiet. You walk in the store and it was like creepy, quiet. And I think I plugged in the Paul Gilbert pedal probably into a Katana or something. I think they had a used one, and I just wasn't feeling it because it was like a fuzz thing. And I wasn't really like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And but I didn't spend any time with it. So I find in the music stores, I really can't get a gauge on anything. I plug into something, everything's unfamiliar. I'm playing a guitar I'm not familiar with a pedal I'm not familiar with, into an amp I'm not familiar with. And unless it's amazing, unless it's just, hitting me perfect in every way, it's all cylinders kicking, I'm just always like, I don't know. I can't figure this out. So yeah, I've not tried any JHS stuff, like at all. I think I said I've tried like 3 pedals my whole life. So, all right, top cam. So I think then after I do, so now I have my drives. This is how I'm going to this is how I'm going to front my amps. Either I'm going to make, like a pedal like this makes the amp sound like a high gain amp. This, I'm pushing the amp a little bit, and this I'm pushing the amp more. Then I usually go into some other type of effects. For this year, I think I want to go either Univibe or Tremolo. An exception to this sometimes would be I would put my fuzz pedal before my overdrives. So usually it's always boost first. Okay, the reason is that a boost will affect a fuzz, especially if it's not true bypass. So you understand a buffered. So when people talk about true bypass and buffer, just keep in mind that there's a lot of things that are great about both. But when it comes to fuzz pedals, it absolutely changes the way a fuzz pedal sounds. A buffered pedal. This is not. I think this is true bypass, but we can check. A buffered pedal, whether it's on or off, changes the way a fuzz pedal sounds. So that sometimes changes my philosophy of when I put a fuzz pedal here, because I may not want a buffered pedal going into it because it may not be the sound I'm going for. But I usually boost into everything. The reason is because one of the main reasons I use a boost is to even out the playing field for my guitars. So in other words, like if I'm plugging a Les Paul into my rig and then I switch my Strat, this is how I usually fix the Strat. I'm like, oh, now the Strat's too thin, and it's just, the single coils are not pushing everything the way I want to. Use this to kind of thicken it up. So I'm not using a fuzz for 2025. I like fuzz. I have a bunch, but this is the one I use a lot, the Nano Big Muff. I like it. I've tried so many. I've done so many videos of them, and I like them all, but I just really keep coming back to this Big Muff Nano for just a good all-around fuzz pedal. I do use that nickel 66 from time to time. And then another pedal I will sometimes use is the Plexitone. This pedal has more gain than this, but less gain than that. So right in the middle. How it goes. By the way, this is a good time to mention, I don't know if you guys noticed, I told the moderators last week, I've turned ads off on the live show. So you're going to see ads on the replay because, that's how we get paid. But I've turned the ads on the live show because it kills the flow of the show. And although I tried it without, let me go back. I tried the show without ads, I tried it with ads, and it was about $40 is what we were making on the live show getting ads. Sometimes 35, right? Sometimes 40. Let's say a low of 25 and a high of 45. I think 45 was the high. And so running ads during the live part of the show, we made about, let's just say 40 bucks. The problem was, I was like, oh, well, 40 bucks, we can make a good show with you guys without, having to torture, because the ads are bad when they're replay, but they're really, really disruptive to the flow when it's live. We turned it off, and I was like, well, it's only 40 bucks. But then I was like, well, there's 50 shows a year, like times 40, like that adds up. It's quite a bit of money. But I rather like the show. I rather the show do better, flow better. And I noticed that when I'm reading comments and stuff, I keep seeing people like, oh, they're just catching up because they're, I don't know. My point is the ads are off. So that's just where I am. I don't plan to change that anytime soon. But the ads will be on the replay. I apologize. I will tell you this, for all live shows like this, we do put an ad-free version on the members channel and the patron channel. I know that's still not free because you have to pay for that service, but I don't know. I'm just letting you know. I have options. I'm trying to make everybody happy. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go. Oh, and another thing. This is another thing I feel like I should point out. I know I got to go off camera all the time to show this. Compressors. I use compressors a lot. I love compressors. I like the Wampler Ego compressor. Wampler. This is the Keeley compressor, which I think is like industry standard, right? I just want you to be aware, this pedal is kind of a compressor. And by the way, so is the Taurus Servo. It's a boost, but it's also it's doing compression. So I don't need a compressor if I'm using this. So I just want you to be aware. You can use if you're asking why I'm not using a compressor, that's why. This is kind of a compressor. So I'm using that. It's not as compressy, but it's good. All right. I think for me, I think I want to go modulation. So there's four choices I have. I could go my basic favorite. Boss tremolo. As you guys know, I like the Supro tremolo and I like the Boss tremolo. Those are the two I use. And it depends on my mood. Because I'm running more gain on this one, the Supro has a gain attached to it that I don't need. So I go Boss tremolo and I'd put it like here. Or maybe I go to upper deck, I'm not sure yet. But that's one way to go. If I don't go this way, I could go Univibe. What I want is just something when I step on it, it's like, it's adding some some depth, some fun. The other thing I like is a phaser pedal. I like the Phase 90 MXR EVH one, but the basic orange one works great too. I A/B'd this one to my orange one, and I just for some reason like this one a little better. Plus it looks cool as hell. So that's kind of the thing. It's really nice. So these are 3 ways to go, or I could always be really cool and do the HX1, and now I have any like effect I want. And I think that's the way I'm gonna go. Because now I can pull up any phaser, any tremolo, you know, and this has the Supro tremolo and the Boss kind of tremolo and the Univibe. So I might go this route. I think that's the way I'm gonna go. Because then I have everything covered. I have everything. This also for me, creates a small conundrum, which is I'm gonna use my Peterson strobe tuner, right? My strobe tuner, but this has a tuner. And I understand they're not in the same league, but I'm like, I don't know, if I got this, I may not have to put a space for that. So that's what I'm thinking, is the way I might go. The other thing cool about this is I can also always use this as reverb or delay if I have to, because it's after my overdrives and stuff. So that's a good way to go with that. I think next, I'm gonna go reverb and delay. And for delay, I keep it basic, guys. I don't have Strymons, I don't have fancy. This is a DD7. I got a DD7 because, I don't know, I found a deal on it. So I got a DD7. Just to give you an idea, I use a DD3 and a DD7, you know, right? Because there's a video of Joe Bonamassa using a DD3. You have to go find it. It's one of the original, like, first videos when he started really doing rig rundowns. And he was like, DD3, and I just run all the knobs basically at 12 o'clock. He goes, and he said, I don't really do tap tempo. I don't want to, you know, I don't need to think about it too much. I just want delay as like an atmosphere thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I just want delay. Like, I don't need to really work out, you know, these extreme delay pedals that people have. I don't do the shoegazy stuff. I don't do intricate soloing where the delay has to, you know, I just want something to kind of make, you know, like reverb, just as something that kind of makes things have depth. So I usually go like a basic DD3 or DD7 from Boss. But I think for this rig, I'm still gonna go with my Atlantic, which is still my faves. This is my favorite delay and reverb. It's funny, there's a couple reasons why. Some people are like, if you want reverb and delay, but you do not want to commit your whole life to this being the best experience ever, of best reverb and best delay ever of all time ever, that's why I like this. Cool feature about this, let me go to the close cam, is there's some switches on the back, one of which is a series or parallel switch. And what that means is in series, you can, when you turn on your reverb and your delay, they kind of feed into each other. And parallel means they're running independent side by side of each other, so they don't become messy, which is cool. I run mine in parallel, because I like them to be independent and not messy. And then it has a boost, level boost. You can do 4 dB or negative 10 dB, and I usually do 4 plus 4 dB. So what's nice about that is when you turn it on, you'll feel, here's why that's important on that, in my experience with it, is sometimes when you turn on a pedal like reverb or delay, or tremolo even, I feel like the effect is now more, you're hearing more of the effect and not so much the guitar itself, especially when the guitar is clean. Like you're hearing the note, but then the effect is like, it's like drenched in ketchup, right? It's like, you know, I mean, it's a stupid analogy, but it's like, you know, that you know, when you just got so much ketchup on this French fry, you can't even taste the French fry anymore. And you can insert whatever sauce that makes sense to you. You understand what I'm saying? There's just too much sauce. You can't even tell what you're eating anymore. It's all sauce. Having that boost on there, a little bit of a dB push, when you turn it on, it's not like it gets louder. It's the effects. The clean signal is still present. You're still hearing the note on the guitar, is why I like that feature. That's what I notice when I engage that, and that's why I like it. So I feel like it just keeps my, you know, my guitar tone more consistent, and it has the effects on top of that. Let's do a super chat. I've seen some come in. Refresh that. Okay. Okay, this is from Jedzy Sparky. Hold on. Jedzy, I think that's it. Maybe it's Jedi Sparky? Jedi Sparky. Could a Blue Amp 1 fit on that board? No. No. The reason being is the Blue Amp 1, which is not a huge footprint. The problem is it would fit if this was one continuous piece, but this is 2 layers. See the layers? So you could put an Amp 1 on the Temple board like this. See, this Temple board is about the same size as this board, right? Right? But it's one level. So the Blue would fit through that. This board, because the fact that this is an upper row and this is a lower row, like so. I don't want to let them slide. The Blue would not fit. Now, there is an exception. If you were to get 2 of these flat plates, so we go back here, if you get 2 of those flat plates, okay, and mount them together side by side, that would fit the Blue 1. So you could do 2 boards like here, these 2, and then put this one or the other bigger one on the side of that, and then you would have your Blue and then all your pedals. So yeah, the answer is yes. See, that's why it's great, it's modular. Because yeah, it would work, but not in the iteration I have it. It would not work as for the Amp 1. And then Michael says, thanks to both of you guys. And oh wow, thank you for the massive super chat. You guys are crazy. Are you guys okay? Are you drinking? you guys are like how I shop on Sweetwater when we're a couple beers in. But anyways, thank you so much for the super chats, guys. He says, okay, so thanks to both you and the missus for all the hard work. Happy New Year's Eve, and the bourbon, and for another Diet Coke. Yes, I don't put the bourbon in the Diet Coke. So I'm going to tell you the story because it's a New Year's Eve story. It's not a specific New Year's Eve story, but it's a story I think is perfect New Year's Eve. So when Ralph and I met this amazing gentleman, his name is Fast. They call him Fast, F-A-S-T. The first time we ever met Fast, he's a pilot. He was flying, and this will show you how bad I am. I don't know who the Arizona basketball team is. I'm not making that up. I'm literally trying to think right now. I cannot think of who Arizona's basketball team is. So if those of you basketball fans, if you want to throw the name out there, I'll add it. So anyway, when me and Ralph met Fast, he said he was a retired airline pilot and trainer. So he used to train pilots for the airlines. And the Phoenix Suns, thank you. And he said, I'm too old to fly a multi-million-dollar plane, but I can fly millions of dollars worth of basketball players, because he was flying the Phoenix Suns in like a private jet. And just a crazy guy. And he would have crazy stories for us. And what's funny was, one of the stories was he went like, I think, buffalo hunting when he was in Vietnam with a Cobra helicopter. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell that story, but it's like, I'm just trying to give you a level of stories. Like, Fast had crazy stories. And by the way, all of this is verifiable. In fact, one of my closest friends who's a captain for American Airlines, he was trained by Fast, and he's like, as soon as I mentioned Fast one day, he's like, oh, I love Fast, I know Fast. So Fast is crazy, and Fast only had one request of me ever, which is to find him a B.B. King guitar, because he once flew B.B. King in a private jet, and he said B.B. King was so nice to him that he's like, I got to get a B.B. King guitar. So anyway, so Fast was an older than us, okay, so he's probably 20 years. Yeah, 20 years my senior, maybe 25 years my senior, maybe more, maybe 30, I don't know. Anyways, very cool guy. And we were talking about how Fast was way more manly than we were, whatever that means. And his stories were way crazier and more like out there. And so what's funny was we were talking about, like, maybe we should man up. like be more manly, me and Ralph. We're like, this could be a thing. We should be more manly. Like, what is going on? How did we go from, you know, Chuck Norris and Clint Eastwood to, you know, whatever it is we are. So we were at a Starbucks and we were ordering some espresso frappuccinos, you know, and the girl behind the counter goes, do you want whipped cream? Not whipped cream, whipped cream. It's important for those that pay attention to the show. And I said no, and then Ralph said no. And she was getting the drinks. We were so proud of ourselves. We are so much manlier now because we didn't get whipped cream. And the girl brought the drinks and they had whipped cream. And I go to grab the drink and I go, whoa. I go, oh, can you just take something and like scrape that whipped cream off? And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I remember. I'll make you a new one. I go, oh, no. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't like the way it looks. Can you just scrape it off? And she goes, you don't like the way it looks? And I go, we're trying to be more manly, and we think like our dads, like our people our dad's age would never like have whipped cream on their coffee. And then she goes, yeah, I think that about guys all the time. So anyways, we were being more manly. So one night at Ralph's birthday, we took him out to dinner, and the waiter came up and took our order, and Ralph was going to get probably like, I don't know, Dr. Pepper or something, and then he goes, you know what I'll have? I'll have a bourbon and Coke. And I'm like, oh, good move, bourbon and Coke, being manly. Ralph's like, yeah. We're like not high-fiving because he's on the other side of the table, but we're mentally high-fiving each other. I'm going to have a bourbon and Coke. Ralph's going to have a bourbon and Coke. We're so much more manly than drinking soda pops. We're drinking bourbon like real men. So a week later, you can't predict this, we run into Fast. I see Fast, we're talking, I said, oh, by the way, Fast, we're becoming more manly. And he says, oh. And I said, Ralph's birthday, he got a bourbon with Coke. And he goes, oh, so you're the man and he's the sissy. And I said, no, he got a bourbon and Coke. And he goes, yeah, he has to put sugar in his liquor because he's a sissy. So the answer to your question is we haven't put sugar in our liquor since. So that's a long, stupid story to tell you why I'm not putting bourbon in my Coke. Because Fast says I'm not a man if I put bourbon in my Coke. This is so off track. Let's get back to a pedal board. I don't know why I wanted to. It's New Year's Eve. I wanted to tell the story. And thank you so much for that huge super chat for the bourbon. All right. Then what are we going to do next? Next, after I do the reverb into the delay, usually, so you guys know, I usually do tuner last. Some people would tuner first. There's all kinds of logic to it. I like a tuner last because I use it as a kill switch, because you turn it off and it'll shut the signal off, and then now your board's muted. That's kind of one thing I would do. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. The other things I sometimes use at the end of is a big shot ABY box. This lets me run out to 2 different amplifiers, so I can run in this and have 2 different amplifiers. Even if I'm not running 2 different amplifiers, it's just nice sometimes if I want to send another signal to something else, like an acoustic amp or something like that. Or if I'm running my bass rig through this, because sometimes I'll run my bass through this. If I'm using a couple of the modular effects, now I can run into a bass amp. So I'm giving you options. I'm not using that today. I'm just letting you know sometimes how I would use that. Then I think what I'm going to do, though, for final is a looper. So I think I'm going to go looper. This is weird. I feel like I need another pedal. But looper. So I use a Loop Station RC1, or I use a Ditto. Literally, the RC1's my favorite looper. I don't use any complicated loopers. I've had all of the boomerangs, all the crazy, level RC. I had the RC2, I had the RC20, I think I had the RC30. I've done a bunch of different loopers, and what I found is, like I said, I like basic loopers. To me, I'm not making music with loopers. I'm sketching ideas down real quick. Like I always say, recording is paint to canvas. Looping for me is pencil to paper. It's just how does that riff sound? I want to hear it back again. I want to hear if the timing sounds right. I may want to work out something to go on top of that. This is why I want that. So I like this because it has an LED that tells me when it starts and stops. This one I like because it's just super small. I changed this, I bought this knob from Antique Electronic Supply. This is a giant ass knob. And what I love about this is I run the side of my foot on this knob. And so when I'm looping, if it's too quiet or too loud, I can actually do it on the fly, which is really, really cool. Something that they should have thought of. So I think I'm gonna go ditto. Ditto. And then last, I always run a Klon pedal. I'm just kidding. I don't. This is for another video. I got a Klon pedal to do with an amp. Okay. This is a Raya, R-Y-R-A, Raya pedal Klon. I was talking about this on the podcast the other day. This is the one I bought to go with the Amplified Nation demo video. I would have got, who made a new one recently that looked really cool, but they were just sold out. I can't remember who it was. You guys are probably putting in the comments. Other pedals I tend to use, EQ pedals, but I'm not going to be using one of those. That's not how I would run the EQ pedal though. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, this is how I run my EQ. It made me laugh. Take those settings down. Volume at 10, high frequencies at 10. Okay, all right. So in this case, I might go and actually just use a tuner just because I have the space. I kind of feel like. Now, one thing I really like, so you guys know me, what I prefer, instead of a pedal board all packed together, I like everything spread out. Dude, I have big fat feet, man. That's in Vans I'm a 13, and regular shoes I'm a 12. So those feet, man, I need stuff spaced out. Stuff like this. One of the drawbacks of this pedal is these two things are just right. So I got to come at it at an angle. So that's the trick there. I'm monitoring. Whoops, Amanda's. Okay, Amanda sent. Dale says, Holy Board Guy says you can use magnets to attach pedals. Oh yeah, you can show us how. I don't have a magnet to attach the pedal that way, but so you know, here's what I can show you. He's right. That's great. Thank you for saying that, because, so here's a magnet, and yep, that's, just to give you an idea, because this is a pretty powerful magnet. That's crazy, yeah. So absolutely, because this is steel, not aluminum. So absolutely, you could probably put, well, think of this. That's magnetized, and that's magnetized. So maybe you can do it that way. Maybe he's getting ceramic sheets, like you used to cut and peel and stick them on the back of stuff for what do you call it, for your refrigerator. But yeah, this is steel, so without a doubt, you can use a magnet for that. That's what I said. It's a pretty versatile pedal board. I kind of thought I had feet for that. Maybe I do. Can I just do that real quick? I need some feet. Just gonna put some feet on this real fast. I just buy these strips, these little foam strips. So stuff will stay. Okay. All right, I think that's the way I'm gonna go. And I told you guys, I don't have that many pedals. You guys have seen pretty much every single one of my pedals now. Pretty much. That's like most of them. I kind of want, if I got the room, I kind of want to put the Mark Lettieri pedal on here. And if I did that, I definitely would go like this. I'm thinking this is me. Anyone like this? I never know. You're like never gonna be happy. No one watching YouTube's ever gonna agree. But that's okay. We don't have to agree. We can be friends and disagree. People forget that. Okay, Michael says, is that pedal board 5 separate pieces? Oh no, I did that one, sorry, okay. Thank you, by the way, Amanda's grabbing all you guys' stuff, so thank Amanda for this. And Unfreaking Believable and Brian S, as always, for grabbing the links and moderating and getting all this stuff done. They're the best, man. They didn't have to hang out with us New Year's Eve, and I want to thank them for doing that. Kevin says, any experience thoughts about the Digitech Trio? The Plus. I did a video of the Digitech Trio. I don't know if it was the Plus. It was one of the first ones. I really liked it a lot. I think they probably have a new one now, and it's probably better than ever before. But regarding that, I can tell you right now, like I was in a music store a couple weeks ago, and they had 3 or 4 used ones. So I'm seeing a lot of used ones. Definitely pick one up on the, when stuff like that, what stuff about technology like that is, it's not that the technology becomes dated. That does happen. But I think with the Trio, I think just a lot of people got it out of their system. They got it and played with it. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I probably kept it for about 2 years, and then same thing. Like I'm like, am I really using this? And it's gonna go. But I really liked it, and I would really recommend it, especially if you can get a deal on one. Papa Steve says, Phil, what pedals do you like more? The ones on your board or the ones on your bike? The ones on my board. Carmen says, hey, what type of pedals can I use if my amp doesn't have an effects loop? Well, you can use anything through the front of the amp. I preferably run reverb, delay, specifically those two absolute through the effects loop of an amp. When I'm building this board, you can understand one of the things I'm thinking is I'm not going to be running like this pedal. So you guys know, I could take, what's nice about a multi-level board like this is you could run all the lower run like a line, make a line through this, so this just goes right into your amp, and then run a top line here, and this all runs through your effects loop. So pedals you would want through your effects loop for sure, reverb and delay. The looper, absolutely, if you're going to use the amp, and the tuner could go through the effects loop too, especially if it's not buffered. Like this is not buffered, this is a true bypass, I believe. So this will be fine through the effects loop. This pedal as well, you could run all kinds of effects of this in the effects loop. So I could run this to where there's a line, like I said, this bottom row is my straight to the amp, and this just has an in and out and goes right out to the effects loop. I'm not going to be running it that way. I'm going to run the entire thing. As you see, it goes from here across, then into here, and then across, and then into the front of the amp. Like I said, this board is for, I'm not planning on the amp doing any work other than just being clean and being a PA system for what this is going to create. This is going to create my sounds. And that's kind of the way I like that. Why I would use that like this is because I'm thinking like I'm not running through my amp, okay? I'm running through someone else's amp, and I don't want to get used to their amp. I already know what this is going to sound like, and all I need is a clean platform. And then Richard said no fuzz. Yeah, we talked about Richard putting a fuzz like right here, but I don't think I'm going to run fuzz. But so you know, this has fuzz pedal. Like I said, keep in mind, this pedal, if you watch my review of this, this has like 300 pedals in it. It has everything you need. So I could run this. Now technically, if I was gonna run this as a fuzz pedal or a overdrive distortion pedal, I'd probably put it here. Like I'd probably put it earlier in the chain so I can use that. But I have no problem, because what's great about this is, let's say I have these off. Well, actually better yet, let's say I have these off. I can still use this boost. I can run fuzz here. Now, of course, I can't run fuzz into overdrive now, but I can run fuzz or distortion here and still have my reverb and delay afterwards. And I'll still have that in a if I need it kind of thing, right? So Michael Nielsen's like, no green pedals? I know. You know, this is the most boring looking board. Everything. Think of this. Other than this one, this pedal and this kind of, they're all black, like dark. I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, I know. I kind of feel like I need to cut the colored pedals out. That's what I was saying. I think I might paint this pedal board to make the pedal board pop. So, and like I said, so chorus, also the chorus I'd run that through effects loop. So you can run that stuff through effects loop. The reason I say that, by the way, you can run all that through effects loop. The reason I want to tell you that is, George Lynch did a clinic and he did not run any effects into his effects loop. He ran everything in front of the amp, including the delay. In front of the amp, he was distorting. He was not running it like I'm running it. He was actually running it. That's a very old school thing, because you gotta understand, for a long time, those guys did not have effects loops. So they would just run delay into, you know, an overdriven amp. It's just how it works. They just adjust it. Glenn wants to know what type, what model and type tuner is. This is the Peterson Strobe. This one is the Stomp Mini. Strobe Stomp Mini. So I think, if I recall, look this way, there's 3 of these. There's a bigger one, which I used to have, but I went with this one. And I think there's a smaller one than this even. I could be wrong. Like a micro, but I went the mini. This is a great tuner pedal, but I wanted the screen to be as big as possible, but also have the smallest footprint. Like I said, on this board, I could just put a full size, but now I don't have a full size. I have this one. I mean, comparably for size, to give you an idea, like I always like to reference things off like a Boss pedal idea. Like there you go. So it's small, but it's not full tiny like those little teeny ones that like the more pedal ones and stuff like that. You can say those are just a little smaller, a little bit. Okay. What? Top cam. All right. So now what I want to do is now I'm going to wire this all together because I think this is where to go. So I'm going to take it all off. And here's what I'm going to do. And then we will play them. Although I'm taking so much longer than I thought. So the first thing I'm going to do is add something to this pedal board. And one of the things I want to add, but I don't know where I put it. It's like, I told you, I could have got organized. Instead I said, no, why do that? Why be organized? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is a device, or this is a unit by Temple audio boards, okay? And this is an input-output device. This is actually made in Canada. Cool. If you have a Temple board, you know that this goes on the side. And so, yeah, if you want to know what it is, it's just a pass-through. This is not active, it's passive, and it just literally, if you put a cable on this side and a cable on this side, it just goes right through. The reason you do this is, on this particular board, this Holy board, like I said, because of the way he set it up to work with Temple stuff, I'm going to mount this here on the back. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to run the pedal, the input to the first pedal here and the output here, so that I just plug right in the back of the pedal board and I don't have to actually physically plug into the pedals. Or I can run it just on the output. So either way, it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and install this. And I'm going to need some screws. And I'm pretty sure these ones will work. They will. Okay. And the white where you write Sharpie on here, you can put these under, either direction, it doesn't matter. I like them on the top, so I write on them output, input. Ta-da! Okay, let's go to here, main camera, and I don't know if you guys want to see me install this part, but it's very boring. You kind of got how it goes. So I just want to get them started, if you don't mind. And let's do this. Did I lose? Of course I did. Don't worry, I have lots more. What's the nice thing about being in the shop room is lots of stuff, lots of parts, lots of things. Okay, and then while we're doing that, Glenn Bailey says, enjoying this? Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are just relaxing at home, thinking about the new year, watching me build a pedal board, maybe restringing a guitar or building a pedal board. I love stuff like this too. I watch like people do stuff like restring their guitars or build pedal boards because it's just nice, like calming. And I don't necessarily need the ideas, so to speak, but I like the, to see something cool. Let's see. And then again, if you're talking to me, put a question mark at the beginning of the question or statement as I scan for them. And of course, Amanda grabs them too. And sometimes I just default and grab what Amanda grabbed because she's already did the work. But sometimes I can see more in real time. Let's go ahead and. By the way, thank you again, Amanda, for forgetting all these. Says, this is from Van. He says, hey, Phil, when would you recommend a power supply that is isolated? I have 2 on my board running 10 pedals. Isolated pedal supply is probably the best way to go because, again, the noise, you never know. So think about this, you know, people are used to live situations. This room, when we were setting up the rig to demonstrate to you guys the pedal board build, I was getting horrible digital noise through the pedals because there's just too much stuff. I mean, I have a digital mixer right here. I have a computer screen literally right here. I have the computer. I have multiple cameras all the way around me, running cable. This is not, you know, it's not like this room is set up for this live streaming for this. We live stream for the Patreon repair, but not for, you know, pedal boards and stuff. And so putting all this together, it just was not working. So we had to move stuff around. So, and even with isolated power supplies, it just is, sometimes it's just a little messy. Let's, so I use them whenever you can. Top cam, just want to show you, now I've installed this. Here you go. Look at that. So now I've installed this piece right here, which now I have power. This is how I turn on and off the pedal. So think how convenient that is. Now I can reach right here and turn this pedal board on and off, which is great for pedals like this, because otherwise, if you just have you're plugged in all the time, you don't have a switch to turn it on and off, this thing is just glowing all the time and it's on, and I just don't like that. Even if there's no way to turn this off, physical off. Some of the pedals, you just turn them off, and of course, like this, there's no light when you turn it on, but this, it's always lit up even when you have it, you know, not using the effect. So it's nice to have just a power supply. Reach across the back. Think of this, I could take a little piece of white tape or red tape, put it right here so I know when I see it, I can just reach back and it's right here, because that's why I put the switch on the top. And then now I can plug, this will go straight out to the amp instead of coming off the side. It's gonna go straight out to the amp. And then of course, I can plug the guitar in here instead of over on the side. If I want on the wall, I can plug here. So that's another advantage of doing it that way. Brian wants to know, why do Boss pedals come on when you turn on the power? You know, we got that question before, we didn't know the answer, and then I went looking for the answer, and all I ever got from the answer from everyone was that Boss says that's just a default setting and that's how they come. There's no explanation of why they're doing it, it's just that that's what they're supposed to do because Boss says that's correct. So, okay, this is from Vim69. Hey Vims. He says, the power is out here in the west side of San Francisco. Okay, we're huddled around my phone streaming YouTube. Oh wow, here's to a great 2025. The consistent utilities, I think he means inconsistent utilities. Thanks to you and Shauna for the great 2024. Man, I hope your power gets turned on soon. That sucks. Power is the worst. When it's like you said, it just puts you in the dark ages in 5 seconds. But I'm glad you're hanging. I'm glad you got the phone streaming so you could do that. So hopefully you guys keep some powered, you know, sometimes power, a lot of people on the East Coast, a lot of people have storms and stuff. We don't have storms or anything. So there's no real reason to have like a gas powered or a propane powered generator here for the most part. But I do have huge battery power units that I keep topped off so I can run a ton of stuff off them. I can't run, unfortunately, a fridge or anything like that. But I highly recommend them. You know, Vince, you know, sometimes there's no, you know, you don't have a use for it because your power goes out like once every 5 or 6 years for just a short time. But next time you're at Costco and you see those like power supplies, you'll see them. They're just battery powered, like essentially they're just batteries that you can run all kinds of stuff on. They're really nice to have and charge up ready to go. To me, it's always have that and some water, just in case. Okay, let's start mounting stuff. I'm gonna mount the wall pedal first. I'm gonna use a zip tie. Sometimes you have to use 2 zip ties because it's pretty wide. Okay. And to do that, super boring. I just run it through. If you want it to look pretty, you zip tie it from the back. Hey, there's fireworks. People are letting off fireworks already. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Arizona. People are like, hey, I need fireworks. I only say that because my dog hates fireworks, so, but that's okay. Okay, so let's run this through. and run through there. And I put the zip on the top. And yes, you can use, like I said, you can use the adapter plates. One thing I like about Velcro, one thing about like zip ties is I've shown you the trick. If you use Velcro, you can use painter's tape. I have a short video on that and I have a long video. You can put painter's tape on the bottom of a pedal and then attach the Velcro to that. And that way it doesn't, ruin the pedal with all the gunk, and then you don't have to clean it up with Gooby Gone or WD-40. Also, if you have labels on the back of your pedals and you want to protect them, sometimes it's nice, sorry I don't have one, sometimes it's nice if you have, like something like this, the sticker. If you don't want to ruin that, you can put the painter's tape over it and it'll protect it because the painter's tape will come off. But one thing I like about zip ties is this is a great way to like put your pedal board together, and then you're not putting double stick stuff on the back of your pedals. So like I said, this is why I'm using the zip tie stuff. So I tend to, as a habit, which is probably not a good habit, as soon as I mount them, to take off the excess piece. And I feel like zip ties are pretty strong. You see, this. By the way, one thing about the board is it's kind of heavy because it's steel. It's not like the aluminum boards. And by the way, if you have a super chat and I missed it, don't worry, I didn't miss it. I'll scoop it. Okay, let's go to this one. This one is the enhancifier is huge, so it's may need 2 zip ties. We'll see. Yep. Sorry, enhancifier. You're the kind of pedal that needs 2 seat. A lap belt. What's the lap belt extender? The airport. You're like, sorry, need the lap extender. Okay. So I'm using 2 zip ties to make. I could just use a longer zip tie, so you guys know, but I'm not gonna. These are all by 12 inches, probably longer than that. I'd say 12. I sometimes have 16s. A good place to get zip ties. I have not had problems with them. Sometimes zip ties are, they're crappy and they break. Harbor Freight, I've had good experiences with their zip ties. In other words, I don't feel like they crack and break right away. Sometimes it's also a good idea to put the cables, install the cables while we're doing this, because now I've made it more difficult. So I might have to, what I need is, but I kind of thought, looking at it, yeah, I was gonna say, I can get in there pretty good. If you're curious what cables I use, I'm going to share with you the cables I use. These are, do they have a brand on them? Deluxe flat patch cables. They have these little things on here. You get them at Sweetwater. The brand is, I don't know, I think it says EBS Sweden. I don't know much about them. They sent me a pedal board once and it had all these cables on there, and then I went on their website and I looked at the ones that look like this. Yeah, I think it says EBS, and I just bought those. So they sent me some, so I just kept it uniform. There's nothing particular I like or dislike about these. They all work fine. I have bunches of others. What I will tell you, what I don't like is like these thick ones like this. They look great. I bought a bunch of them, but man, they're so, like sometimes so difficult to get close to each other. But I still use them from time to time because they're good quality. It's just, again, I kind of like, these because they're just easier. Okay, let's do the blues breaker. Now I'm going to definitely plug in the stuff, and then I'm gonna space. I want to space them like so. Oh no, we were gonna do the Lettieri. I don't know if it's gonna fit now. See, things look like they're gonna fit. Now I need to map it out because there's no way. By the way, I also have these flat ones, which are Hosa. So I have some Hosa flat ones too. and I don't have a preference of them, like quality-wise. I don't feel like, you know, one specifically was way better than the other. They just function and they look the same. So I probably bought some hoses one day because strange brew. No, I'm just kidding. Because oh wow, that's going to be a little tight because of where it has to be zip tied. So sometimes that has to lay out a little strange. One thing's for sure is, as I added these pedals, what sucks about these zip ties is they're bent the wrong way. By the way, I'll take periodic. Let me refresh. I see Chris's comment. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so Chris Goodwin, he said, thanks Chris, I appreciate it. Do you build your board for both guitar and bass or just guitar? So I don't like pedal effects on my bass. I just like straight, you know, keep it straight and easy. The main effect I use on a bass is a compressor, and so I try to buy bass amps with compressors. I wish it's actually created such a thing for me that some bass amps that I love, like Mesa Boogie, I use other bass amps because they have a compressor built in. So I tend to do that because I like compression and I don't want to have to add the pedal. So I'll sometimes just have a compressor pedal for my bass. But I do, if you notice how I'm thinking is, I want to be able to run a bass to this if I want a wah pedal, or I'll use the compressor off the HX1. This compressor has a studio compressor in here that I like, that I can use for bass. When I did the review of this pedal, I demoed my bass with it. So this would be, yes, but I wouldn't necessarily take this to a gig. This is just too much stuff to just use it for one effect. So I would probably pull this off the board and just yank that to the gig if I needed it, but I generally don't. Because like I said, if I'm playing bass, I'm usually in a situation where I'm just walking up, I'm playing a few songs with some guys, and I don't need a ton of gear. It just makes the whole experience way harder than it needs to be for me. Okay. One thing that sucks about zip ties is sometimes it covers up the LEDs, so you got to be wary of that, you know, or aware of it. I don't know if you would be weary of it, but you need to be aware. But again, you can always Velcro, or you can, oops, there we go. And sometimes pedals like these Marshalls are, because they're at an angle, they move around in zip ties and you have to use two. But again, right now I'm not touring with this. That's another reason why I like it for an at-home board. This is just way less intrusive than doing all the Velcro. Hold on. Hugo wants to know, are you going to put a power amp there? No, I'm not going to run power amp. The amp is the power amp. So I don't use any powered units like the Seymour Duncan unit and stuff. I don't run any of that stuff and power my board because I don't have enough. Like I don't have an HX Stomp or anything that's actually going to have the IRs and the amp simulations. So this would sound horrible through a power amp into a speaker because this is just the pedals. So for me, I don't do that. And if I was to run something like that, I'd run like the Laney or maybe like the Blue Amp 1 or basically some small guitar amp power unit that's going to have the amp tones. Like I said, these pedals are just to run in front of an amp, and so that's why I do it this way. Because again, this is a little bit for fun. I mean, I'm doing this because this is my pedal board I'm going to be playing and having fun doing. But also, when I make content, I need something that's functionally works for what I do for content. And and usually I'm running an amp already. Okay. These Marshalls are not great for running zip ties. It's not the best. We also got a comment from By the way, I can hear the ice cream man driving by. T-Side says, hey, Phil, you need a chorus pedal, 80s all the way, man. Thoughts on the Vertex boards? I've never tried the Vertex boards. I'm looking for my first board, about 10 to 12 pedals. I don't think I'm familiar with the Vertex stuff, but for chorus, I'm using this. This has the chorus in it. I don't use chorus very often. It's probably one of the effects I use the least, but if I use it, it's going to be on this unit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this is probably too short. So now what I need is probably this one. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a longer cable, plug in the back here, and then I feed it through this hole. Let me show you what I'm doing. Take that off. Feed it through there. Whee! And then, so you can see it from the back side. And I will usually then zip tie and clean everything up here. Now I'm going to run it through over here. And I don't know if I can fit it through one of these holes. I'm going to see if it does with angles. Sometimes it does. It does not. So I'm going to run it actually on the side. So I have two choices. I can run it out the back, like here, right here, and then into the pedal, or I can run out the side. I'm going to run out the side. So now if you understand what's happening is we're here, and we're going all the way across, and now we're here. That's how we did it. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put the guitar input here, because to do that I would plug in here and I'd run a cable across here and then into this unit. And I might, but I think I might plug in, like, because it's right here, it's easy. I might plug in here and then have the output go there, just to make things easy. Okay, so zip tie and look for questions. Jack wants to know, what's a good drive pedal to pair with an EQ pedal? The ODR1 gets too fuzzy. Boss OD3 doesn't have enough gain. Rat obviously gets fuzzy. You know, the what do you call it? The Blues Driver? The Blues Driver by Boss? That's a good one. I really like it. I did a video with my buddy Matt and had him demo it, and dude, the tones were just killer. So something like that is fantastic. This is a little tricky as a pedal because there's buttons and stuff. So I'm going to run this, I'm going to throw it over the side. Throw it over the side. There is so much black. There's this black pedal board with black zip ties with black pedals. I normally don't use white zip ties, but I kind of wish I got white ones this time because I'm like, at least they would pop. At least there'd be some color, or get some multicolored ones, like some pink and some yellow ones. Okay. Man, this is tough. You know, it's almost like I need a tool, like something. Oh, you know what? This will work. Look at that. Yay! These work great for grabbing stuff. Okay. All right, I think this is gonna work. We're gonna see. One, it turned around on me. Oh, this is the worst. It's the worst. They're, like I said, they're all bent the wrong way. They're all bending. Okay, I'm gonna go to the edge. I'm gonna do this again. Get these. At least this time I have the tool. Make sure we don't hit any of the buttons. Look at that. Okay, next question. Yeah, that's what I'll do. As I do a thing, I hit a question. Yardbird68 says, Phil, would the Big Muff pedal be more of a 60 style fuzz or a 70 style tone? Happy New Year to you and your family. You know, I don't know. I think of it as more of a 70s style fuzz. That's my perception, but it's probably incorrect. I use fuzz usually if I'm playing like Weezer, or if I'm trying to do Slasher, Eric Johnson, or Joe Bonamassa, like a fuzz into overdrive. Otherwise, if I'm using straight up fuzz, it's usually for like a Weezer song or something. Fuzz is one of those things, like I love it, but I find every time I put it on my board, it just doesn't get utilized the way I think it should. Okay, let's get another short cable. Maybe. I'm like, okay, I was gonna say, did I bring enough short cables? So you guys know I bought a bunch of stuff from Sweetwater to do this live thing. And the Sweetwater guys, well, you know, they didn't sponsor anything. I'm just saying I bought it from them, and it was their shipping centers here in town, so it only takes 1 day to get here. So I was like, oh, no problem. So I ordered it 4 days ago, and they barely just shipped it, so it didn't get here. It would have got here if it was shipped, but it didn't ship. So see what I'm saying? Look, they're all bent this way. I need them all bent the other way. So I ordered more cables, more stuff to make this a little easier for me. Susan says, Shoals chorus, soloist. Where should it go in the chain? I like chorus after distortion. Some people like it before distortion. So if I was going to use chorus, this is where my chorus pedal would be, right here. So it'd be wah, boost, overdrives, chorus. So for me, a chorus after the overdrives, I put chorus before reverbs and delays. That's where I put it. But again, it's a preference. People have reasoning for why they do what they do, but that's where I like it. I use very little modulation effects. By the way, I think I've decided not to put the tuner pedal on this. So the reason is that's why I'm spacing these out. Because I'm just like, I really like the idea I can just use the tuner off that. So I think I'm just going to run that there. That's how I want to do it. I think it's going to be easy. Just going to make sure I plug this into the mono output. And wait a minute. I might go a little bit longer because that feels pretty close, short. So let me do this. So I have one that's just a little longer. And then that way, I just like having, I just feel like this is too, I don't know, this is where I want to be. Like I said, I could do this. What is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 pedals? No. Yeah, I talked myself into it. I'm doing it. I'm there. I'm gonna do them both. Okay, what's great about these small pedals is, assuming I can bend the zip ties the correct way, they're gonna go perfect. Amanda sent this one from, I want to say it's L bar, but it could be I bar. It says, since we're building a pedal board, what are you plugging it into? What are the favorite pedal platform amps out there? So for me, convenience is everything, right? So this room does not have an amp rig set up like it does in my office studio, where I record the videos and the podcast. So what this room has, I'm going to show you right now. This room basically has, I guess the best way to put it is like 1 amp, okay? But that amp did not work for what I was doing, okay? So I'll show you in a second. So let's go here. So the amp that's in this room is the Yamaha THR30. It's right here. See? It's at the end of the bench. If you watch reviews where I'm working on stuff and doing deep dives, you see it sometimes on the end. It's real easy because I have a wireless unit, which I don't know where it is right now because we had to move stuff around, and I can just plug in and quick and it goes right to the amp. The wireless is connected to the amp. So just easy peasy. When I was doing the demo, we were running through the amp. It sounded great. I've used this for a ton of reviews. The problem is is that it needed to be mic'd up separately from me, and it was a little complicated, so it just was easier to go grab my Engel Steve Morse amp. So that amp onto a 112 cabinet, and then throw a mic in front of it and run it into the mixer. So it just became easier to do that. So that's what I'm running, is the Steve Morse amp for convenience. I'm running it clean. It has a little bit of reverb on it. I don't have the MIDI switch hooked up because, again, I'm going bare bones. And because it doesn't have the MIDI switch hooked up, it's, you know, I don't have it set up in any fancy way. Just literally have it in clean mode with reverb, and I have no way to channel switch or anything because it's over there on the other side of the room. Okay, that's my pedal board. Now we're just gonna plug in some power and then listen to it. So power is pretty simple. The Chuck's unit uses these proprietary cables. They essentially like an RCA cable, plugs in this way to the other side that the pedal sees. So the one thing, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna flip it all upside down. Okay, and I'm probably gonna go, and I won't, unfortunately, for you guys, I'm not going to do all the tucking and stuff and tying off and making it look neat. That'd be another hour for that. Okay, so, but the one thing that I want you to know is when I plug in right now, and what's cool is, I want to point out, when I was thinking about adding this pedal, you might notice that the Chuck's only has 7 outputs. Right, 1 to 7, but there's 9 pedals. Chuck's comes with these cables where you can put 2 pedals on one power outlet, or sometimes 3, and you're fine, because essentially I think it's each output is putting out like, I don't know, like 1,000 milliamps or something, so more than enough to run a couple pedals off, especially like this. This pedal though, the enhancer, I'm gonna run 18 volts, so this is what I'm gonna do right now for that, is I'm gonna grab one plug, and I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to go here, and then so 18 volts is the 2 white little tabs have to go up. So you just slide them both up, just to make sure. There you go. And then I'm going to make sure these are all down. Yeah. So this is now 18 volts. But like I said, this will go. This will also go 9 volts. And I'm just going to run it through. Again, wouldn't it be funny if I do all this and it doesn't turn on? I kind of feel like the big reveal, it doesn't turn on. I'll be like, well, I guess it'd be know your gear, know your gear. Okay, and I'm hoping this moves quickly. The Marshalls, I'm actually gonna use them off of one plug because they're not running a lot of power, and I can do it. Just keeping things easy, so run that one through there, run that one through there, flip it over. Oh, well, it would help if I paid attention to what row I was on. It's on this row. I thought that looked weird from that side. Okay, now we have it. Okay, and like I said, once I do something, I kind of hit a question. Let's see, what do we got? By the way, trying to make sure I get everything. See, I'll have to refresh. This is from Lance. He said, hey, just want to say thanks for what you do. Hey, thanks, Lance. I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, this is a little self-indulgent. I'm just building my pedal board, but I understand what you mean. Sometimes, you know what's funny is, this is what I need to do. This would be perfect, just to do this one. See, you kind of learn to just move stuff around. Okay. This is the 18 volt, so we don't want to mess that one up. Okay, and then this one, it's going to go here. I think I'm And those two, we're gonna go here. I don't know about you guys. If you guys are building pedal boards, when you do them, do you get like, I feel like right now, like I'm just a little impatient. I'm like, I want to hurry. I want this to be done now. Did they really put the power on the farthest side of this thing? They did. Thanks a lot, Peterson. It's like, it's okay. Okay, and now you go through here. And goes here. There's got to be only like 5 people hanging on to the end. Okay, so this is from Jason. It says, hey, I will send you my bonsai if you want to try it out, Phil. I have a Nobel Screamer, and I am not sure if I will keep the bonsai. That is really kind of you. But you know, when it comes to pedals and stuff, look, I'm addicted just like you. I don't have a problem buying one. But what's funny is, I've been debating if I'm even a tube screamer person, right? Do I even like tube screamers? I really need a long one. Hold on. Yeah, this is good. I need a super long one to go through all this. And like I said, I'll clean all this up a little bit later, but I wanted this. Okay, and then through here. And where, oh, there you go. I am pretty sure that everything is plugged in now. So not only plugged in, but also like powered up. Okay. I wish you guys could see this mess I made over on the side. Should take a picture of this and post it on Instagram. You guys wouldn't be impressed, I'll tell you. You'd be like, geez, Phil. Okay, I am short 1 cable. That sucks. Maybe they're all too short. And there's just no, maybe. And the answer is, oh, because it goes to the top. Okay, it worked. Okay, look at that. See, we didn't need Sweetwater. I was gonna say, although now I have a lot of pedals coming, or a lot of cables and stuff coming. Okay, so here's how I worked it up. I just want you guys to see. So the way I have it set up, like I said, we'll zip tie and clean it all up later. The way I have it set up now is I'm plugging in here. So this is my cable, plugs in, right? Green is input. Now, this is the last pedal, right? But it's going into this unit right here. So I can I'll write the word output right there. Like I said, I can plug a cable here over there, so my input goes here too. So I can make it, if I want, later, to where you just plug in the back, see, input, output. And then remember when we were talking about the second row, if you want to go effects loop, you could also assign this to these two and plug these underneath to be the effects loop. But right now we're gonna keep this way. So let's get power and see what happens. What happens? First, I plug this in, everything shorts out, and the show ends. Okay. All right. We plug right in the back. Okay, now we flip a switch. What? Look at that. So everything is working. Nope, I did not plug in the Lettieri. Oh, but you know what? Because I used this chain here, I have more than enough plugs. Ooh. Okay, maybe turn it off before we do it. All right. All right. Now, everything is on. All right. Did we do it? Let's take 5 minutes before we plug in and answer some questions. If I missed a super chat, I will try and grab that, scoop that up. Let me see what you guys are talking about. That's my pedal board. I'm curious if it sounds, how it's gonna sound. Cool. Okay, we have, I want my $2. He says, hey, beginner intermediate guitar player, have been thinking of getting a multi-effects pedal like the HX Stomp, I love the HX Stomp, or the Boss GX10 instead of an amp. Thoughts on the approach and what would be the best to get? I like the GT10, but I've said this before, I'm biased. I prefer the distortion overdrives of Line 6 over Boss. It's not a, you know, it's not a better, it's just I prefer them. I don't, it's not that they sound more real to me. It's not that argument. It's just, I don't know, I always find my sweet spot in the tone with Line 6. So I love the HX Stomp. So, you know, I think that pedal, you could gig anywhere with it in the world. I have done tons of videos where I have plugged in that and then lined it into a Zoom recorder, and I've never had a single person. This is back when I used to do videos and not explain, you know, all the details. Like, oh, now I'm plugged into this with mic'd up that. I would just do the review and the demo, and no one even knew back then. You wouldn't know when I was doing a real amp or when I was doing that because it didn't come up. It wasn't something in the thought process of just demoing the guitar. So fantastic stuff. So I absolutely love that unit. I sold mine during COVID, okay? And I don't have that kind of relationship with Line 6. They don't send me stuff. So I bought it, I used it all the time, and then when COVID happened, I got in the middle of COVID, you know, probably like a lot of people, a year in, like, this is never gonna end, I'm never gonna travel again, I'm never gonna need it, because that's what I was using it for, so anytime I was traveling, and it's a mobile rig. And I go, I'm just never gonna need it, so I sold it to buy something I could use at the time. I think I bought, so you know, I think I put it towards this $1,000 microphone that I currently use for miking acoustics. And then when the clouds, you know, went away and yeah, I could go outside again, they were like $600, and I was like, oh, that was way more than what I paid. I just didn't know if I want to do it, but I want one again, just so you know. Okay, so I will eventually get one again. All right, I have a guitar. Let's see if we have any sound. No sound. All right, why don't we have sound? This is the fun part, is where is, it was the mute on the, this is muting. This is what I'm talking about. That's great. Now you can tune and you're muted. This is why I like it. Now, for those of you, so you know, this is important. Some players put this at the beginning of the pedal board. That's fine. It works for me. The reason I don't is when you put it at the beginning and you turn it on and you tune and you mute, sometimes if you're running overdrives and distortions, they're still making your amp hiss. Right? So you got to turn them off too. So I like it here because it's like, it's just like whatever's going on, this is off and it's just done. And I don't have to hear any sounds. So like a perfect example, let's turn this on. Run the gain. Yeah, hear that? In fact, just so you guys hear it better. So I could do that, or I can kill that. And so that's why I like that there. Okay, let's do clean. I'm sorry, by the way, I want to apologize. I know I'm constantly looking this way, but this is where my screens are. It's usually that's why I love this. I'm gonna go to side cam. I just gotta show you this. I love that this wah pedal, it's so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm just what I love this for is when you play with a little bit of overdrive. So let's use a little bit of this. What I love is, as you can see, I'm just touching it. I can go, and then it's off. If you have not given yourself the love to try one of these, you touch walls and they just come on. I will tell you, like the Bad Horsey that they make for Steve Vai, but now they make the Maverick. I like the Maverick, obviously George Lynch, a lot of these. And so you know, Dunlop makes one as well that's touch sensitive. You touch it and it comes on. It is a love-hate thing. So you know, you will find somebody go, I tried it and I hated it. That is okay. But I'm telling you, if you have not tried one, you need to, because I can tell you right now, I love the Morley pedals. I do. I love a lot of things about them. That Clyde McCoy wah is my favorite sounding wah ever. And if it did this, I would just use that all the time. But as much as I love it, the stepping forward, hearing it click, then wahing a little bit, then stepping forward and clicking, to just have the ability to do this. I mean, this is so effortless. Especially I can do this. That's just cool. Okay. Maybe it's not cool. All right. Let me give me a demo. Let's. What do you guys want? Top view? I'll do both. So that's the wah. Now I got to show you what it does. I don't know. So this is the execute button. Okay. So now. Oh. Gotcha. So what this is doing, this switch right here, is you're setting the wah where you want it. So it's like a cocked wah. So you can turn on your overdrive, right? And you put that in, and now it's like set in a certain position. And I'll tell you why that's important. Why that's important is because it's a spring loaded, as soon as you let off on it, it jumps to off position. It turns itself off. So some, like Michael Schenker, some guitar players are known for putting the wah in a certain position and leaving it there. And you can't do this with it. So Lynch obviously had them make a knob where you set it where you want the wah, and you just turn that on with your foot, and that's your cocked wah set position. That's ingenious. Plus this thing glows in the dark. Okay, let's go back to, okay, that's your clean. Okay, this is your Hansifier. Do that top view. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, you know why I like the Enhancefier. All right, then we have the Mark Lettieri. Let me set the drive where I like it. And I'll show you that. So you can see right here, it's hard to see this distance, but I have the gain at, right here, it's probably 9 o'clock, the volume a little hard, and then the EQ, I have it a little bit more in the high frequencies. So this is, again, let's do the clean tone. Okay, here's the pedal. And of course, now stack them. So you can see why I like stacking them. I mean, to me, that's just sweet. So now we have the Blues Rigger. And what's funny about that is I think these two are a lot alike. Let's A-B them, okay? Wow, okay, so they're different. I was hoping this is what they would do. This is a little bit, they got a little bit differentness going on, but they're so close, I could see why eventually one just stays on the board. Now we got the Shred Master. Let me set that up the way I like it. And this is the way I like it. Okay, and we'll do clean. Okay, here we go. Okay, I like that. Now I would add delay. So let's do the delay. And so let's go ahead and do the delay. Let me show you. So this is delay. So now we have Enhancifier, Shred Master, delay. One more time for this. Go top view. Now watch this. This is delay, Shred Master, Enhancifier, and the wah. Okay, here we go. I'm ready to audition for Metallica. Okay, now, so now I got my light overdrive sound and my heavy gain overdrive. And now for this pedal, the line 6, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. So let's just, let's do something real quick. Polycapo, 12 string. Come on. I think green. No, greens are delays. Blues. Okay, we need, there we go. Okay, so. Okay, this is for Susan. Here we go. Chorus. Let's get cease and desist. Here we go. Okay, let's not. All right. So that, like I said, I can use any of those effects there. I can use anything I want, essentially any effect, and there it is. And then of course I have reverb. Okay, let's turn this down. Turn that off. One cool thing I want to show you is on the delay and reverb mode, this is also an expression pedal, this plunger right here. So if you don't have to have the delay on, okay, so you can use just a reverb. You can do an express like this. But I like it with the delay because it's, especially with my boost, like this. So, I mean, pretty cool. So that's pretty, and then of course the looper is pretty straightforward, and then the tuner. So I just built a pedal board. Took 2 hours. I gotta make sure. By the way, I have to work really hard because I hit you guys can't see it, but in frame there's cameras and cables and all kinds of running across this framework. So if I hit it with the guitar, it's not good for the guitar or the stuff. Okay, I built a pedal board on New Year's Eve. Thank you guys. I can't believe you guys hung out with me. I appreciate it. This made this way funner than just building it alone. Thank you guys. I enjoyed this. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats or any kind of questions. So let me look. I will look first for the super chats. Don't do any super chats now. Keep your money till 2025. So let's take a look. We have Grumpy Digga said, sorry, not Vet's Pension Week. Just thanks to you and your wife for so much. Great channel. You inspire me to keep going. Man, thank you so much, and thank you for your service. You know, yeah, but trust me, just thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And then CJack242 says, nothing, he just wanted to super chat me. Thank you, I appreciate that. By the way, now you can figure out from this, the distance of the screen, how well, we figured it out. I have to lean in 3 inches to read it. Because this is blurry, and then this is back in focus. So it's kind of funny. It's like, all right. And then I'm gonna grab a couple of the Amanda's stuff that she grabbed. She grabbed so many, and I apologize always to Amanda and to all you guys for not grabbing all this stuff, but I try to grab as much as I can, and so we can go over it. And then in the meantime, I'm also going to have the live feed up, so in case you guys want to say anything. I'm sorry, so you guys make me laugh. Let's see. Oh, okay, I did that one. This Amanda sent this one from Jason. That was from the Bonsai. She sent this one from Jedi Sparky. Says, do all left-right input outputs always follow the same in-output patterns? So what he's asking specifically is there like a rule, like always in, then out, then in, then out? Usually yes. Every once in a while it's not that way, and it's very, very frustrating when it's not that way. But the majority of pedals are going to be right in, left out. Generally speaking, the flow is always from right to left. So that's just how it works. Pedal boards work. That's the way that the signal goes. And so that you can tell even if they're on layers like this, because like I said, this is 2 whole layers. You can see how nice. That's what I said. Think how great this is. The fact that the top row is above. And like I said, I really love my Temple board. Like I said, you know, I've said this for years. These are the 2 boards I use, Temple and Holy Board. But I wish Temple would have came up with another rack tier. I've looked. Have you guys seen that? Let me know. But the one thing I hate is my feet. When I step on this pedal and I reach over, I'm always stepping on. And so, you know, that's one of the reasons I got rid of a wah pedal on my Temple board was when I put a pedal above my wah to step on my other pedal, I push the wah down and wah the effect. So I still love Temple, still using Temple, still using Holy Board. It's the 2 I've been using forever. That's why I like the Made in Canada Temple boards, Made in USA Holy boards. Keep in mind, for that price of both those boards, they're competing with import, a lot of companies, some companies making stuff in China for the same price. That's pretty impressive. So just to speak on that. Neil says, hey, I think, let me go back to, so you can look at me sideways. Neil says, I think that's an original Zendride. If you notice on the love pedals, the text input and output next to the yin yang, yours is inset in the check for the signature inside. Yeah, I might have to do that. I'm pretty sure, I bought this used. I've told you guys this many times before. I'll look inside. So what he's talking about is the original Zen drives by Hermedia. He signed them inside. And one I sold did have a signature inside. I've told these guys before. I had an original Klon. I had an original King of Tone. I had an original one of these. And I bought them all when they not when they first came out, but early on when they were inexpensive. And when they started getting silly, I would buy the clones of them and A/B them. And if there was a clone that sounded just as good, within 10%, I'd sell them because the reality is, this is free. I didn't pay anything for this pedal, right? I bought the other pedal, I sold it for way more than I paid for it, and with the profit, so basically I got my money back, and then I got the house's money, so to speak. Maybe that's some dumb gear math. It's dumb gear, but it makes me feel better knowing when I don't use a pedal. I have problems with pedals more so than anything else because even though they don't cost as much as guitars and amps, I feel like they can sit dormant much longer, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not using them. I want to thank the moderators, Amanda. I want to thank, trying not to say his name because he goes by Unfreaking Believable. And Brian, and for hanging out tonight. If there was other I'm Not Old, I'm Vintage was here too. Thank you for so much, guys hanging out. I hope all of you guys have a happy new year. Some of you guys already had it, so you're in the future. Let us know what it's like. Vim69 made me a little nervous. He's like, his power went out. I'm like, thank goodness. I know that when he said he's San Francisco, he's an hour behind me, so obviously if he was, he'd make me more nervous if he was in the future. I'm like, 2025, the power goes out. It's Y2K on steroids. I want to thank all of you for doing the comments and putting comments. I'm apologizing to everyone I miss, as always. I'm really lucky to have a group of people that show up on the regular and hang out with us. I'm really lucky to have you guys watch the replays of stuff. It's been an amazing journey, and not only did I never see it coming, I just didn't see it lasting this long, and I gotta say that's pretty cool. And I'd love to stay longer, but I'm actually on lapels and battery equipment this time, so I'm pretty sure we're 10 minutes from things starting to die. So you guys will get really nervous, like, oh my goodness, this New Year's Eve special. Anyways, thank you so much. If I missed any super chats or anything that's relevant that I need to, I will grab it and I will handle it on Friday's regular podcast. The first podcast of 2025 is this Friday coming up. So I hope to see you guys there. And I want to, again, Happy New Year. Thank you guys. I'm going to enjoy the pedal board. I will now button it up and make it look neat. Hopefully this inspired you guys to build a pedal board. And like I said, if you guys would consider Holy boards, please, I just a shout out to Chris on Holy boards. The first two Holy boards I bought myself. So I bought them and I was just using them. And then I wasn't, I was just using them because I like them. And then he saw a lot of you guys buying them and he reached out to me and he's like, hey, I'd like to sponsor a video. And he sent me a board, and that was really nice. And then, I don't know if he knows this, and then he bought a top tier Patreon membership for I think a year or two, and just to support the channel. And I totally got to say thank you for that. And then so when he sent this pedal board out, I was super excited because although I like the aluminum one weight better than the steel one, I love the fact that I can use some of the temple board plates, and I love some of the advantages, the fact that I can mount all this hardware, because that's the one thing the temple guys were doing that was just cool. So it's nice that I can support him and still keep my temple board stuff that I bought and not have to worry about buying new stuff. So really cool. So check out all this stuff. I'll put some links later to the stuff if you guys are interested in buying any of that stuff and supporting the channel. But like I always remind you guys, if you can save some money, just save your money, because they don't pay me anything close to what you guys, if you guys can save 10% buying stuff, please, I don't even get anything close to that. So please put that 10% in your pockets instead of 1 or 2% in mine. And As always, thank you for your time. Until 2025, know your gear. And now you have to find awkwardly where the end screen is. Here it is.